So after deposing Nicolas Maduro just last week and liberating the Venezuelan people, Trump is now threatening to topple the Ayatollahs of the Islamic Republic of Iran. As you've probably already seen, the Persian people have been protesting in the streets of Tehran and other major cities. Unrest has gotten so out of control that the Revolutionary Guard may be forced to evacuate Ayatollah Khomeini to Moscow. Ali Khamenei, of course, is the theocratic supreme leader of Iran since 1989. Things have escalated so high that the Iranian regime has barred air travel and completely shut down the internet, a total blackout from the rest of the world. Now, the real question is, should the United States get involved? Now, personally, I don't want more interventionism in the Middle East unless it's beneficial to American interest. And yes, that includes natural resources. But I want to focus on the facts and the history of how we came to this point in Iran and make the case for why a swift overthrow of the Iranian theocracy is America first. This is who Trump is and always has been. That might be shocking to hear, but Trump's foreign policy really has never changed. America first has never been about isolationism. For instance, Trump conducted 30,000 air and artillery strikes against ISIS in his first term. Trump took out ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in 2019. He reimposed sanctions on Iran under the Maximum Pressure campaign. This is who Trump is. Here's CNN asking Trump about Iran. Play clip.
I think Iran takes their threats seriously.
I think so. Don't you think so, CNN? Don't you think so? Wouldn't you say that they probably do at this point? After going through it for years with me, being hit, Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, the Iran nuclear threat wiped out, don't you think, and then you just had Venezuela, don't you think, she says, CNN, do you think they take your threat seriously? Wouldn't you say they do after all of the things we've done? What a stupid question.
Now, how does this benefit American interests? Well, the same way Venezuela is now assisting the US, security and oil. And don't forget natural gas, which Iran has a shitload of. Iran holds 150 billion barrels of proven oil reserves and 1,200 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Now, the reason natural gas is so important is that there's one country that exceeds Iran, which is Russia. China also is a major importer of Iran's oil. 90% of Iranian oil exports go to China. Now, I do think that Trump is attempting to monopolize the world's energy supply and maybe to protect the dominance of the petrodollar. Obviously, that's the main reason he wants Greenland so badly, which I do think that he will succeed in annexing or at least purchasing, which, by the way, another side note here, America has always been an imperialist nation. You can harken back to the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, the Alaska Purchase from Russia in 1867, the Florida Treaty, which Spain ceded Florida to the U.S. in 1819, the Mexico Cession of the West in 1848, the Kingdom of Hawaii, Puerto Rico. America is always engaged in expansionism, and that's not always a bad thing. In fact, it's worked out pretty well so far. There's another justification for America to topple the Iranian regime, and this one hits a lot closer to home, and that's religious freedom. Here's a little known fact. Muslims in Iran are converting to Christianity in droves. After the Iranian Revolution in 1979, churches were made illegal and evangelism was outlawed. And yet today, we are witnessing firsthand a miraculous Christianization of Iran. Reports show that 19% of the Iranian population has converted. 19%. Keep in mind, apostasy is illegal in Iran and punishable up to 10 years in prison. That's if they don't kill you. I hope to God that Trump can liberate these courageous believers in Christ. And obviously, it's not only the Christians that are being repressed. The economy is also failing. In 2025, the rial crashed to a record low. $1 equals 1.4 million rial. Inflation is between 40 to 50%. Food prices are up 70%. They do boast the cheapest gas prices in the world, though. In many locations, less than 30 cents a gallon, adjusted for US dollars. Now, that's, of course, if you can afford to drive and you don't ride a donkey to work. Let me reiterate. I do not want a full-on invasion of Iran, but it's definitely time to emancipate the Persian people. Women in Iran are clearly fed up with the mandatory hijab laws, as we've seen in the civil unrests in 2022. Turns out that women do not like being treated as property. The Ayatollahs need to be ousted from power. And yes, the US must replace humanity with some form of secularist temporary government. And I know that makes people's heads explode, but the last thing Iran needs is another jihadist terror organization seizing power for themselves. We witnessed this with the Taliban after the Afghanistan withdrawal. I do actually think that Trump will intervene. That's if the Iranians don't successfully overthrow the regime themselves. The regime really has escalated its repression over the last week. Over 3,000 protesters have been murdered by the IRGC. Almost every revolution in history has been assisted by some sort of outside forces with selfish interests, including the American Revolution. Yes, thank you, France. The same Delta forces that carried out Operation Absolute Resolve have been deployed near the Iraq-Iran border. So yeah, things are definitely heating up, and I expect to hear more within the next week. But until then, God bless the courageous Christians of Iran. If you enjoyed that clip, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks.